of a sweep of the Blue Jays in Toronto, the Twins return home to open a 7-game homestand at Target Field. Tonight is the first of 4 against the Tigers. And what a fantastic start this has been to the season. The Twins come into tonight with the best record in all of baseball, 23-12 at the .657 winning percentage. Good evening and welcome to Target Field. I'm Marnie Gellner. Rocco Baldelli was talking today about the chemistry on this team, and he said even in spring training, you look around the clubhouse, we had good chemistry and we felt like it would be an asset for us this season. And Rocco said now we've won some games and the people and the personalities inside the clubhouse are a big reason why. Here's your series setup now for these 4 games against the Tigers. Minnesota is enjoying a power surge this season. The Twins have had 10 different games already this year where they've hit 3 or more home runs. That's the 4th best record in the big leagues. Twins pitchers were really impressive in that Toronto series. Starters and relievers combined, they gave up 1 total run in 3 games against the Blue Jays, lowest run total in 15 years. Tonight's starter, Jake Odorizzi, has had a great stretch. In his last 2 starts, Odo shut out the Astros and the Yankees, 13 consecutive scoreless innings pitched. He's the reigning AL Player of the Week. Coming up, the offensive onslaught continues for the Twins. A look at the steady plate production after this.
Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by Northland Ford. Visit buyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. It's a gorgeous Friday night for baseball at Target Field, the first of 4 between the Tigers and the Twins. And the opener of this 4-game series will be pitched by a couple of veterans. Right-hander Tyson Ross, coming off a very disappointing start for the Tigers, will take on Jake Odorizzi, who has emerged as one of the best right-handers in the league. And good Friday night to you from Target Field. Dick Bremer along with Justin Morneau for the opener of this 4-game series. You can't win 2 out of 3 games, which is roughly what the Twins have done so far this year. Can't do that unless you get really good pitching. And the guy who's pitching as well as anybody else in the league right now is Jake Odorizzi.
Yeah, and it's been fun to watch. I mean, he's elevates with a fastball that is not overpowering, but he knows how to locate it. He understands the importance of pitching up in the zone for him, and his command has been a lot better his last few starts. He's gone out there, he's attacked, he's trusted the plan that's been put together, and whoever's behind the plate with him, he's worked very well with them. There's been a lot of flow. There hasn't been shake, 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 and the defense standing around. He's worked quick. He's gone attacking hitters, and the defense has been ready to make plays behind him. It's everything you want to see out of a starting pitcher. Work fast, work ahead, get the offense back in the dugout, and give him a chance to swing the bats. And he's been efficient and effective so far this year.
And the Twins have done a great job scoring first, and with the lineup like they've had so far this year, there's no wonder why. They've done a great job getting a lot of runs scored, and a lot of those runs scored early.
Yeah, and it's the power, it's the on base. They're doing everything you want to see a lineup do. They're fouling off tough pitches. They're extending at bats. They're making pitchers work. Anytime they go out there, they think they're going to have a quick inning. It's not going to happen because these guys have swung the bats so well. So you wonder who it's going to be tonight, because it seems to be a different guy every night.
Jake Odorizzi, the reigning American League Player of the Week, and he hopes to get this homestand started on the right foot. And back-to-back strikeouts. Got him on the outside corner. There's a drive to left. Cruz with a long home run, and the Twins will add a run in the 9th. Another 2-run home run for the Twins. Rosario's 13th.
This is a star emerging before our eyes.
And the Twins take the field, first of 4 against the Tigers, and the Angels come in for 3, and the Twins take the field with the best record in the major leagues. It's been a delight to watch. It's been across the board. Normally when a team gets off to a good start, you might say, yeah, but there are no yeah buts. This team has been playing really good baseball. And of course, Ron Gardenhire has his team below the 500 mark, but you want to include the Tigers on a list of teams that might be overachieving. I'm not so sure the Tigers shouldn't be on that list too. They're doing okay.
And this is going to be a tough matchup. That Toronto lineup that they put together didn't swing the bats very well. It's going to be more of a challenge in this series for the Twins.
A little bit of a different lineup for the Tigers, brought to you by Menards. Nico Goodrum has been hitting in the middle of the lineup, will hit leadoff. Kristen Stewart batting second. Nicholas Castellanos batting third. Then Miguel Cabrera, Ronnie Rodriguez, Jamer Candelario, Harold Castro, Grayson Griner, and Jacoby Jones.
Tonight's starting pitcher stats are brought to you by Home Furniture. Take a look at Jake Odorizzi, the reigning American League Player of the Week. Well deserved, and he's been very good his last 4 starts. He's going to work a lot more north to south than he is east to west. So top of the zone, bottom of the zone. He's going to ride that 4-seam fastball up, change the hitter's eye lines, and then get him to try and chase the ball off speed down in the zone.
And the Twins have played well in the field so far this year as well. Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, Max Kepler in the outfield. In the infield, Marwin Gonzalez at third. Jorge Polanco at short. Jonathan Scope at second. C.J. Cron at first. Mitch Garver catching, and that's a bit notable because the Twins have used 3 catchers when all 3 were healthy. Now just 2 catchers, but this is the first time that the Twins have had the same starting catcher for 3 games in a row. And Garver getting his 3rd straight start, in part because Jason Castro's right arm is still sore after being hit by a pitch. But we can talk more about that later on, how the Twins have rotated their catchers almost equally between Garver and Castro. Here's Goodrum in the first pitch at the knee, strike 1.
You just see so much confidence in these pitchers right from the first pitch. I mean, they're in the zone, they're attacking. There's a lot of confidence between what pitches are being put down by the catchers, the plan that's being put in place. There's not a whole lot of extra questioning of what pitch should I throw here. It's we've gone over this, we've scouted them, we've put on all our work, and now our job is just to go out there and execute pitch by pitch to every batter.
High fly, center field. Buxton drifting back. Now into the sunlight, fighting the sun and making the catch. I don't believe I've used that term yet this year.
Yes, this is, I think, the first optimal night we've had to play baseball this year at this ballpark. And looks like the fans are starting to file in, but this is a weird spot. You wouldn't expect to have sun here. This is actually from in between the canopy and the top section of stands in the upper deck from behind home plate. And there's only a short period of time where it actually gets you during the game, and it found Byron right there, but he made a nice play.
Here's Kristen Stewart. Twins with an extreme pole shift in the infield for Stewart. Fouled back. Rizzi's built a reputation this year of being a great strike thrower, and he's thrown 4 strikes so far here in the ball game. Won the American League Player of the Week award for good reason. Off speed pitch over for a strike. 13 shutout innings pitched, allowing just 6 hits against the Astros and Yankees.
Do you think that factors into the decision of what the competition is? You know, who he beat with the lineups
in terms of winning the award?
Yeah.
Well, what he did against Houston, that was, you know.
Oh no, for sure. I'm just saying. I'm wondering if the people voting look at it and go, well, he beat, 2 teams with winning records, 2 good lineups. That's got to count for something.
I would hope so. That's hit to right, hit pretty well. Kepler hoping for a bounce, and he'll get one. Stewart digging for second. Here's Kepler's throw, and it is not in time. Stewart cranks a double high off the wall in right field, and he'll stand at second with 1 away.
Kepler played this ball pretty well. Hit high up on the wall. Took a big bounce off the warning track. After trying to go in with the fastball, actually locates it pretty well right on the inside part of the plate, up under the hands. But Stewart does a nice job of getting his hands to it. You see Kepler, there was a little bit of hesitation. That ball just checked up just enough where he had to wait for it an extra split second. That gave Stewart enough time to get into second safely.
Here's Nicholas Castellanos. Cutter or slider off the plate, ball one.
They're more than likely going to pitch him carefully in this at bat. You've got a base open. You want him to make it out on your pitch if you can. You're obviously not going to give free passes early in the game, give base runners, but you got a double play candidate on deck.
Dribbler up the line, foul on an off-speed pitch, 1-1. Bellegarde paving the way. Ryu with the Dodgers with 16 scoreless innings. His teammate Perez with 15. And now 13 1/3 for Odorizzi. Perez will go in the series finale on Sunday. 1-1. High and fairly deep left center field. Buxton tracking it to the warning track, leaping and making the catch. Byron Buxton with a great catch against the fence. Timed his leap perfectly.
You see him smiling. You see the tip of the cap from Jake Odorizzi. What a play. I thought off the bat this ball was gone, but there's not a ball that's hit in the air that stays inside the ballpark that Byron Buxton doesn't have a chance of running down. I mean, the awareness to see where he's at, he feels the warning track, that it's, we have that dirt warning track here in Target Field as opposed to that Rogers Center, but you know, he knew exactly where he was at. He's so aware of his surroundings and how well he plays center field in this ballpark, to have the focus, the concentration, and the athleticism to make that play.
And Cabrera late on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. So 3 at bats, 3 deep fly balls. Now Odorizzi's a fly ball pitcher, but there's already been more solid contact tonight than in his last 2 starts combined. He got a lot of weak pop-ups where the outfielders were coming in, not going back. Up and in, 1-1. Cabrera hitting over 300, but just 1 home run. Of course, he was playing against the Twins last year when he ruptured the biceps tendon and ended his season. Fouled back. And now 1-2.
And you know he likes to hit this ballpark. He's I mean, he's been a thorn in the Twins' side for a very long time, and this situation right here, there was a time where you didn't want to throw him a strike because he was the best run producer, in my opinion, in the American League.
Breaking ball strikes him out. Stewart left at third, thanks in part to a great catch by the Twins center fielder. Twins started the night 3.5 games of the Cleveland Indians. They'll be playing in Oakland later tonight. Scoreless top of the first, and the Twins have done a great job scoring first, particularly on the road, coming off a winning road trip. All 3 of their road trips, in fact, have been winning road trips. Here's the Menards batting order for the home opener. Max Kepler leading off, then Polanco, Cruz, and Rosario. C.J. Cron, Marwin Gonzalez, Mitch Garver, Jonathan Schoop, and Byron Buxton. And Kepler takes a high strike.
And tonight's starting pitcher stats are brought to you by Home Furniture. Take a look at Tyson Ross. ERA a little higher than he'd like. Twins need to get him in the strike zone.
Slashed foul, 0-2.
And they all, everyone with the exception of Garver catching tonight as opposed to Castro. Ross started against these Twins back in mid-April. So everyone's had a good look at him. They're very familiar with him. He's been in division. You know, you get to know a guy.
Stroke to right, and that'll be gathered in by Castellanos. An 0-2 pitch, and Kepler put the barrel on it, but right to the right fielder, 1 down. 1 away. Let's check out the Tigers in the field. Kristen Stewart is in left field. Jacoby Jones is in center, and Castellanos, the veteran, is in right. Candelario, Rodriguez, left side of the infield. Castro and Goodrum, the right side. Grayson Greiner has emerged as Detroit's #1 catcher. Here is Polanco. His .344 average tied with DJ LeMahieu for the league lead. The first 5 hitters in the Twins lineup all have 7 or more home runs. Kepler, Polanco, Cruz, and Cron have 7. Then Rosario, hitting cleanup, has 13. Bullet caught by Goodrum for out number 2.
That's 2 very hard outs to start this ball game. Boys look like they're ready to swing the bats again tonight. So this is a good play right there at first base. This ball's hit very hard, but you know, it's sometimes where you hit them and not how you hit them.
2 bullets for 2 outs, and here's Nelson Cruz, the designated hitter. Down and away, ball 1.
I feel like we haven't seen or I haven't seen a home run from Nelson in a few days, and I feel like I like this matchup for Nelson tonight.
The middle into the shift, picked up by Castro, and it's a quick bottom of the first for Tyson Ross.
Start of the second inning here at Target Field with our scoop from the clubhouse. Willens Astudillo is doing very well, took batting practice on the field today, but Rocco Baldelli said he doesn't have a date for Astudillo's return, but that he will be back fairly soon. Twins play a doubleheader tomorrow against the Tigers, and Michael Pineda will start one of the games, but the Twins did not want to reveal the second starter, didn't confirm anyone. We saw someone in the clubhouse, but nothing has been confirmed until after the game. Baldelli said that we will confirm things after this second game tonight. He just didn't want, or the game tonight, guys, he just didn't want to get into specifics and tip his hand just yet.
The person we all saw was not Dallas Keuchel, so I don't want you to go there. Dallas Keuchel will not be starting for the Twins in one of the games of the doubleheader tomorrow. 2-0 to Ronnie Rodriguez. He'll be followed by Jamer Candelario and Harold Castro. Fouled back 2-1. The start times tomorrow, by the way, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Whether you want to come to the ballpark, and we've both noticed that there are quite a few more people here tonight than there have been. The weather, big part of that. The flash sale, a success. But whether you want to come to the ballpark or watch the games on TV, they will be at 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock tomorrow. The hope is that by 7 o'clock at least, you will have caught all your walleyes and have them cleaned. Tomorrow's national holiday here. Can't have a national holiday. State holiday here in Minnesota. The fishing open.
Oh, so you got the games without me? I was going to go fishing.
2-2. Foul. Governor's fishing openers in Albert Lea, and we'll have some reports on that tomorrow.
I never realized how big fishing was here until I lived here.
Yeah.
The ice houses, spending time in the winter, it's a big deal. So hopefully we get some people out to the ballpark to watch this good baseball team play.
Another one poked foul. It's still 2-2. Ronnie Rodriguez has been a pleasant surprise for the Tigers in that he's hit over 300. He's got a little bit of power. That's what the Tigers are looking for these days. They want to find players who will be part of the solution. And he's swung at what, 5 straight now, I believe. 2-2.
They call this swing mode for the hitters.
Right.
It's like almost anything you throw up there, guys will just keep swinging at it. So you keep expanding the zone and see how far he will go outside of the zone. You throw maybe the split or the slider down. If he hits it, then you just throw it a little bit further out of the zone.
Here it comes, just beneath us.
And if we get another foul ball up here, I'm still not going to catch it. And that was not out of the zone like he was hoping for. That ball was middle up, but just that life on his fastball, that extra gear it hits before it gets to home plate. You've seen already quite a few fastballs up in the zone swing and miss or fouled off straight back.
Wearing out Odorizzi here in this first at bat. Here's how the pitch selection has broken down for Odorizzi so far this year.
And, you know, the thing that stands out to me on that is it's fastball a little more than 50% of the time, but the other pitches are pretty evenly distributed between, you know, the slider, the curveball, the split. As a hitter, it becomes tough to, if he can throw all those pitches over.
Finally one put in play. Polanco races in behind the mound, and finally the first out of the second inning.
But if he's able to get those over, it becomes hard to look for anything on a guy like that who's got 4 pitches that he can throw for strikes and are above average pitches. Sometimes you don't look for one pitch. Sometimes you'll either look fast or slow. So you'll look fastball for the entire at bat, or you'll just look slow and look for something, you know, coming out that's, and then you give yourself a chance to stay back on 3 pitches. It's not the best way to hit, but if you can't catch up to that high fastball, you need to make an adjustment at some point and maybe start looking for something else.
So he drops a breaking ball over for a called strike.
But if your thought is something slow there, you're going to recognize that because your body's slowed down. You're not jumping out there to catch up to that 93 at the letters. You're letting the ball come to you. You're letting it travel. You're seeing it. You're tracking it a little bit longer.
Another one missing, and it's 1-1. I was talking with Jack Morris, who of course does Twins telecasts. He also does some Tiger telecasts. He described Odorizzi's style to me as if he's pitching uphill. Does that make any sense to you as a hitter?
It does. It's and he knows that too. That's the good thing about Jake. You know, you get to this point in your career where you understand what your strengths are. You understand where you need to throw your fastball, where it's going to be effective. For him to try and throw downhill, he always said that his ball flattens out. So if it starts out at the knees, it's going to stay at the knees, right where a hitter likes it. Especially now with the type of swing the guys are running up there with, a little bit of an uppercut, a little bit, you know, an uphill type swing. Well, if his ball flattens out, I mean, those are home run pitches. So he knows if he pitches, you know, up in the zone with that fastball, it's going to be a lot more effective. He's going to get foul balls, and guys are going to be swinging under it.
Short left field. And sliding to a knee. Rosario makes the catch. 2 away.
But to your point, yes, uphill. It's almost like imagining or visioning a pitcher standing without the mound, standing on flat ground and throwing the ball. We'll take a look at this real quick. And Rosario choosing to slide right here to avoid a collision. If he's running through that, sometimes when you see that infielder coming out towards you, when both guys stay up, that's when you have those collisions. Usually one guy slides and the other guy is told to either jump over him or veer off, and makes a nice play.
Strikeout and 4 fly ball outs.
So if you visualize a guy standing on flat ground and throwing, and almost like he's trying to make the ball rise, that's what Jake's ball kind of tends to do. He said, I asked him about that mound in Toronto, which always, when I was a player, seemed to be a couple inches higher than all the other mounds in baseball. And he said he actually didn't like pitching there because he didn't want to have to feel like he was pitching downhill.
Okay.
He wanted to feel like he was able to throw that ball and let it, you know, almost seem to rise as it gets towards home plate. So he understands his fastball. He will throw it down in the zone. He knows you can't just continue to throw one pitch in the same spot the entire game. Hitters will eventually adjust. But for all his other pitches to be effective, he has to be able to throw that fastball up.
1-2. Well, as luck would have it, he didn't have to pitch in Toronto on that elevated mound.
It looked a little better. I wasn't standing in the batter's box, obviously, when we were there, but it didn't look as high as it used to.
Well,
maybe that was because they had Roy Halladay standing out there. It seemed like every time we faced him. But
well, it looked like it was about 20 inches tall to some of the Toronto hitters. They scored 1 run in the 3 games. 1-2. Odorizzi trying to polish off his 15th straight shutout inning. One and 2. A line drive for an out. A 3 up, 3 down second inning for Jake Odorizzi. When we last were at Target Field, Eddie Rosario was in the midst of a long slump, and then it extended through New York, but he found something in Toronto.
And you know, he wasn't really swinging the bat all that badly. He had some really nice, plays made against him, diving play in the gap. It seemed like every time he hit a ball on the line, it was going right at somebody, but he was still making consistent, solid contact. So as frustrating as it is to go through that as a player, if you're still squaring the ball up, then you have something to fall back on. If you feel lost and you're not hitting the ball hard, you're not, if you're making weak outs, then you maybe look at it a little bit differently. And he was able to battle through it and put together some good at-bats and have a good series.
13 home runs, tied with George Springer for the American League lead. Behind third, chased by Candelario. He makes the catch. 4 quick outs for Tyson Ross, 1 away.
Tonight's Pizza Ranch for the win. Just keep slugging. We've seen some quick at-bats. Balls hit hard still, but .495 slugging percentage, that's a big number. That's first in baseball. If they're able to sustain anything near that for the course of the entire season, this is going to be a really fun summer of watching doubles and triples and home runs. Balls going over the fence and balls in the gap, and fear in the other team's pitchers.
Cron with 7 home runs. He takes ball 1. Ross has already pitched as deep into the ball game tonight as he did in his last start. Went just an inning and a third against the Royals. They knocked him out. 7 hits, 5 earned runs. There were a couple of walks. Just 12 pitches, and 2 of them have been to his 5th batter. In the hole. Nice pickup by Rodriguez. He comes up firing. A beautiful play by Ronnie Rodriguez in the hole.
Wow, this ball looked like it had hit written all over it. It was headed towards that hole. He does a nice job right here. First he catches it. Then his footwork sets him up and enough arm strength to throw that ball all the way in the air. That was an impressive play right there.
There have been 2 lineouts. Cron with a bid for a hit, denied, and now Marwin Gonzalez with 2 down. 5 outs on just 13 pitches. Gonzalez taps it foul. Ross has never beaten the Twins. 0-4 with an ERA of over 5 against Minnesota. And that got the home plate umpire Paul Nart all the way through the catcher Griner. And they got Nart below the knees someplace. 2 strikes to Marwin Gonzalez.
I'd like to see him maybe foul off a few pitches right here, make Ross work a little extra.
And instead, a cutter inside strikes out Gonzalez, and Ross has a pair of 1, 2, 3 innings. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Quickly to 3rd inning. Both pitchers doing well. Tigers have a hit, a double against Odorizzi. But Grayson Griner will lead off the 3rd for Detroit. And strike 1. Strike 2. We've seen recaptured velocity more dramatically in Martin Perez, but I think it's fair to say that Jake Odorizzi has, well, we've seen a couple already at 94 miles per hour. That's a tick or 2 higher than we saw for most of the season last year.
You have to give credit to pitching coach Wes Johnson.
Breaking ball on the outside corner, perfectly spotted, and Odorizzi has his 2nd strikeout.
And anytime you make a change, you wonder how it's going to work out. But to see how it's hard to argue with how well these starters have thrown the ball. Just right on the edge of the zone. Just looks like it caught the edge of the box right there. Nice job by Garver. Just giving him a real good look. Not a lot of movement of the glove. As I said, you make these changes, you make these moves, you're not really sure how it's going to work out. But how do you argue with what we've seen from Martin Perez? And we've seen good starts, and maybe a little more inconsistent than we've seen from Jake and how he's been this season. There's a guy in there. He's had good years in the past, and now it seems like he's found a little bit more consistency. He's got something to fall back on, and then I think the pitch plan and how the catchers have been executing, the pitchers have been executing that plan as well. You got to give credit to the guys in the analytics department, and then the pitching coach for being able to communicate that message. There's a lot going on there, but then you have to go out there and you have to get it done. And these guys have done a good job of taking the information that's been presented to them and then using their strengths and getting hitters out with it.
Strike. You saw the heavy side from Wes Johnson. We're talking about Odorizzi's improved control and all that. Then he goes 3-0 to the number 9 batter, but now 3-1. Foul back, now 3-2, and that's been a big part of his success too. Not walking as many people as he did last year. And some control issues inexplicably at times last year, and we really haven't seen that this year.
We saw it, a couple times, and the weather maybe had a lot to do with it. There was a couple of nights that he had to start that maybe we shouldn't even been playing baseball, but he battled through it. He's a professional. But
there's a pop-up, Crone chasing it, but it's out of play.
Anytime you end up in first place, the way the Twins are right now, you have to have some bounce back seasons. You have to have some guys, figure some things out. You need contributions from the free agents you bring in, and you need your own players that you have to continue to improve. And all those things have kind of happened so far for the Twins this year.
Full count to Jones. Big pop-up, more weak contact. Polanco out in short left. And there's out number 2. Tuesday, May 14th, it's Skol Night at Target Field. A limited number of Skol Night ticket packages are available that include your ticket to the game and an exclusive co-branded Skol Twins beanie. Go to twinsbaseball.com/Skol and learn more about Skol Night ticket packages. There's Nico Goodrum. Get a deep fly ball hauled in by Buxton to start the ball game. One strike. Talking about Odorizzi's shutout string, now 15 2/3 innings. The Tigers come into this series having been shut out yesterday by the Angels.
That's the last thing you want to see after not scoring any runs, is running out there against the pitching staff that's been throwing the ball as well as these guys have.
And again, late on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. I asked you before the game whether Odorizzi, there's something in his delivery that allows him, now that was 94, that's plenty fast, you'll get a lot of late swings on that, but allows him to conceal the ball at all. And here you get a nice look at it from behind home plate. And it's a strikeout. We'll get your answer in the 4th inning. There's a throw to first to complete the strikeout. Another 1-2-3 inning for Odorizzi. He has set down 8 men in a row. Twins catchers have joined the fun when it comes to hitting home runs and driving in runs.
Yeah, they've been swinging the bat well. It's a defense first position. The most important thing is being able to handle a pitching staff, being able to call a good game, block the balls in the dirt, throw out runners if they try and steal, and then you get this production. It's really a nice, I wouldn't call it a problem, but it's a nice luxury to have for manager Rocco Baldelli to know you've got Jason Castro, a veteran catcher, a guy who knows how to call a game, who's been around a long time, understands the game, can work with the pitching staff, and the emergence of Mitch Garver.
Taking ball 1 and now ball 2.
Through the experience he gained last year when unfortunately Castro was hurt, but now you see, talking to Mitch before the game, he said he just feels so comfortable now. He played nearly every day. He understands the pitchers. He knows the pitchers. That was important for him, he said, to know when he gets in the batter's box of what that guy's slider is going to do. He can go out there and he can visualize what pitches he's going to throw him, so he's prepared mentally when he steps into the batter's box, knows what he's looking for.
And he nearly hit him. It's a 4-pitch walk, and for the first time now Ross will pitch out of the stretch, and that'll get Jonathan Schoop to the plate.
It's interesting. The third inning, the last start, Ross really struggled against the Twins. It was a very similar start to the game.
Yep.
You know, back in mid-April, and now the bottom part of the lineup that could be the top of the lineup for a lot of teams in baseball. With the way Garver swung the bat, you got Jonathan Schoop and Byron Buxton. These guys, this lineup kind of never stops, and all of a sudden you look up again and you're facing, you got Kepler, Polanco, Cruz coming up. So this is
to right center field and down for a hit. Garver to second base. So after the 4-pitch walk, Schoop gets aggressive, drops a single into right field, and there are 2 aboard now for Buxton.
And what a game. Kepler lines out, Polanco lines out, and then Schoop gets this cutter off the end of the bat and hits it just soft enough to fall in front of right fielder Nick Castellanos. Like I said before, sometimes it's not how hard you hit him, it's where you hit him, and you take that every day of the week.
Back on April 13th, Schoop and Castro were aboard. Buxton delivered an RBI single against Ross in the 3rd. Then Rosario drove in 2 more later in that inning. So we'll see if the Twins can score first. Check swing. Buxton takes ball 1. Good check.
We talked about this in Toronto as well. That's the difference, I think, between him now and him in the past. You would see a full swing on that pitch. You would see him be a little over aggressive and chase that pitch. Now he's got himself into a 1-0 count. He's probably going to see another cutter or slider, something to move away from him. That's, Ross's bread and butter. That's what he goes to, especially if he's trying to get a ground ball. But Buxton's now learning which one of those pitches he can hit and which he can lay off.
No, back to the mound. They'll get one, and there'll be no throw. Now they throw back to 3rd. So Buxton hit it right off the end of the bat, right back to the pitcher. An important out for Ross to get, because he's kept the double play in order now with Kepler coming up. 1st and 3rd, 1 down, and Kepler the batter. I guess I should say the double play is in order until Buxton potentially steals second base.
Which I'd be surprised to see them throw down to second base in this situation, because you're probably not going to throw Buxton out anyway. So you're maybe not going to take a chance of throwing the ball into center field, or something happening, Mitch Garver getting an opportunity to come home. So if he runs, they might not even cover right here and just let him take the base.
And he goes on the 1st pitch, and there is a throw, and Buxton is safe, stealing second on the 1st pitch.
That was close. Surprised to see a throw right there, but it's a real good throw.
Byron jammed his fingers even with that pad on his left hand. Watch what happens here.
Pretty good tag right here. He gets it down quick, but I don't see how that would be reversed. That was a close play, but yeah, he's in there.
You can see his fingers curling underneath.
Not that I did a whole lot of base stealing or sliding head first, but I always ran with my batting gloves in my hand just so that I could keep them closed to avoid jamming my fingers.
The problem is, we've seen plays being challenged, and by the length of your finger, you can be called out now. 1 strike to Kepler with 2 in scoring position. Checked his swing, 1-1.
Early in the ball game, right side of the infield, still playing back. If he hits it to 3rd, the third baseman's probably going to come towards home plate. But a ground ball to the right side right here should get the job done if he's able to get on top of something.
Fouled off a leg. Well, the Twins have won nearly 2/3 of their games, and they have scored first in nearly 2/3 of their games. They're 18-4 when they've scored first, and there have been 13 times when they haven't scored first. See if they can get it done here. Kepler with a 1-2 count.
You have to get something up in the zone.
Inside, 2-2.
He just never really gives you anything straight. It's hard to get to square him up. It's cutters that run into sliders, and he's got a good sinker. He's a tall guy. He's got a short stride, so he kind of messes with your timing a little bit. For how tall he is, he doesn't feel like he's releasing the ball on top of you.
Close pitch taken for ball 3. And Polanco on deck.
This is an interesting pitch right here. You've got one of the hottest hitters in baseball on deck. You've got a guy who can hit the ball hard, who can beat you if you make a mistake. You know, do you try and load up the bases for a double play ball and not give in, or do you attack him and go after him so you don't have to face Polanco with the bases loaded?
Took up high, and now the bases are loaded. 2 walks in the inning. And Polanco will come up with the bases full and 1 out.
Take a look what he's done amongst the major league shortstops this season. He's been, you know, as good as anybody. He's made all the plays you need him to make at shortstop, but then doing what he's doing, getting on base, driving the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, he's been everything you could have hoped for, but the consistency's big.
Taken low, ball 1. Ross was just sailing along through 2 innings, and then as Justin pointed out, he ran into 3rd inning difficulty here on April 13th. Now he's working himself into a real mess with a couple of walks and a single.
And a guy who's shown so far this season, he's not going to get himself out. He's going to make you make pitches to get him out. He's very rarely does he give in the at bat, so he's looking for something to drive right here.
Strike called, 1-1.
Maybe a little bit off, not a good pitch, not something he's looking for anyway. And if he puts it in play, it's probably going to be weak contact. So you get yourself into a hitter's count, 1-0, 2-1. You get something you want to hit. Looked like he tried to throw a little backdoor cutter, never really came back, but got the call on it.
That's fair down the line. Garver scores. Buxton scores. And it's 2-0 Twins, and they score first again.
Oh, what a nice job of using the whole field right there. He threw almost the same pitch in nearly the same location. He makes the adjustment, puts the ball in play the other way. Set up away again, looking for that outer edge. Same thing, little backdoor cutter right there. Stays on it, just slaps it the other way. That's frustrating for a pitcher. You hit your spot. Location as manager Rocco Baldelli coming out to check on maybe an obstruction or interference call at second base. It's a very interesting play. As Kepler was rounding second, he kind of ran into shortstop. So I'm guessing that's what Rocco was coming up to talk to Hunter Wendelstedt about.
I was following the ball, so I didn't see what you saw. Let's see if we can show it to you on replay.
He's coming around second. You see him making his turn, and see, to me, that is interference in some way there. I don't know if you can award him home plate based on that, but it affected the way he was running. It affected his turn coming around second, and you saw him put his hand up, almost trying to push him out of the way to clear his path. So I think if he attempts to score, we might have an issue there, but because he stopped at second base, or at third base.
Hunter Wendelstedt is in the frame in the center of your screen.
He's looking right at it.
He was looking right at it. You're right.
I think it's just assumed that he wasn't going to score on that play, so you can't just award him home plate based on that.
Nelson Cruz with 2 men in scoring position. Reiner blocks, ball 1.
This is almost an identical third inning that we saw.
Sure is.
He was cruising along, and all of a sudden, I think he threw 30 pitches in that, or 31 pitches in that third inning on April 13th. So second time through, I mean, this lineup's so deep, you might get through it once rather easily, but all of a sudden.
Missing badly now, 2-0. 16 pitches to get through 2 innings. He's only retired 1 man. The next 18, Rick Anderson, of course, longtime pitching coach here. A pretty good job with the Tigers. Not happy with how this third inning has transpired. And now 3-0 to Cruz.
To me, that take right there, the way he took that pitch, tells me that he's looking to drive something to that right center field gap. You know, he followed that ball, he tracked it. You saw his eyes and his body movement were moving towards that direction, and then he recognized it off the plate, and he ends up taking it. I'm assuming he'd be green lighted right here, 3-0.
And another walk, another 4-pitch walk. And they're loaded up now for Rosario, and here comes Rick Anderson. The only man that Ross retired was Buxton on the comebacker. This is kind of what happened to Ross against the Royals when he was unable to complete 2 innings. Tigers bullpen is tapped out. They added Nick Ramirez today, a left-hander. A short start yesterday.
But it's hard, you know, as a pitcher, as a starting pitcher, to really, he's basically throwing 2 pitches. We could consider the cutter a 3rd pitch, but it kind of blends together with the slider. But you could get through the lineup once with a sinker slider. That's why most guys in the bullpen only have 2 pitches. Some have 3. And usually a starter has 3 to 4 pitches that allows you to give the hitter a different look when you see him in, you know, 2 or 3 at bats in a game. So this could be also another reason why he struggled. It started with the bottom of the lineup, but struggled through the 2nd time through the order again.
Picked up by Goodrum, and they'll come for a tag play at home, and they got him. A double play. Goodrum caught the hot smash and came home. Twins are going to look at it. But a good throw home.
Wow, what a play.
And Kepler was tagged out, ruled out on the slide.
Real good play right here. Not too often when we see the first baseman go for that tag. It adds a little time onto that throw home, but good strong arm. And they're both out.
Good play by Nico Goodrum. Good trip to the mound by Rick Anderson, but the Twins score a couple. Jorge Polanco's 2-run double, giving the Twins the first lead, 2-0 as we go now to the 4th inning. And it'll be Stewart, Castellanos, and Cabrera facing Jake Odorizzi. Odorizzi gave up a couple of well-hit balls in the 1st inning, but what we've seen recently, most of the last 2 innings, the soft contact he elicited against the Astros and the Yankees. Stewart cracked a double off the fence in right his first time up. Up and away, ball 1.
The last time they were here, this is one of the young hitters that manager Ron Gardenhire was excited about. We saw him hit a home run last time at Target Field, double off the wall today.
And outside now, 2-0.
So he's got some power. He's got some upside here. He's one of these guys they want to get a long extended look at to see if he's part of this future here.
Popped up. Garver spins the mask away, has plenty of room. 1 down. 1 gone in the 4th. Let's check in with Marty Gellner.
Last night in Detroit, these very Tigers hosted the Angels. It's our big story. Albert Pujols hit a solo home run into left field. That was the 2000th RBI of Pujols' career. He's just the 3rd big league player to ever drive in 2000 since that stat became official in 1920. Alex Rodriguez and Hank Aaron are the other 2. Side note, do not look for that baseball in Cooperstown because the fan who tracked it down kept it.
All right, Justin Morneau, I asked you this afternoon, did you ever have to bargain with a fan to retrieve a memorable baseball in your career?
Yeah, there's a few that, you know, first homer. The first time I hit 30 and 100 against Zumaya and these Tigers. We negotiated in Detroit for a ball.
Picked up by Gonzalez, comes up firing. Got him, what a play! Marwin Gonzalez turns in a gem at 3rd base.
Wherever you put him, he brings value on defense. I mean, he's good at 3rd. He's good at 1st. We saw him throwing out runners on the road trip from left field. No matter what he's doing with the bat, he shows up to play defense every single inning of every night.
2 down quickly here in the 4th inning. I remember the home run you hit against Zamaya, 99-mile-per-hour chest-high fastball, and you pulled it to right. Still don't know how you did that, by the way. But
neither do I.
Foul back. So what did you have to give up to get that ball? That's not an historic baseball like the one Pujols deposited in the seats yesterday.
Well, the person that had it may have been overserved in the outfield bleachers and started there. It started with season ticket request, and it ended up being, I think, a signed ball. The
by you or someone else?
By me.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
All right.
The negotiations, de-escalated in a hurry when they realized that we weren't going to give them $10,000 in season tickets. It was just a ball that only meant something really to me. But you can't blame it. It's a piece of history. If the fan wants to hang on to it, they bought a ticket in the outfield bleachers. You'd love to see it returned to the players, but
fly to right. Bremer retired. Motorizing back in the groove. He set down 11 men in a row. Only Minnesota can you find more than 10,000 excuses to drop a line, relax, and catch varieties of different fish in lakes, streams, and the rivers too. Minnesota's great fishing, made possible by its many diverse bodies of water. The land of 10,000 lakes has more shoreline than California, Florida, and Hawaii combined. Plan your true north adventures at exploreminnesota.com and share your favorites with #OnlyNMN. We wish everybody a successful fishing opener tomorrow, but be safe, wear your life jackets, and make sure you enjoy the day tomorrow. Strike one to C.J. Cron. He'll be followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Mitch Garver.
And tomorrow the fishing opener, also Statehood Day.
There's a drive to right center field and deep. Castellanos chasing it, and he makes the catch in front of the fence about 400 feet away from home plate.
Minnesota became the 32nd state in 1858. Tomorrow's date.
I am so incredibly proud of you. That's awesome. I thought you were going to drop some, British Columbia history on me or something like that. But you knew that.
Yeah, I have friends that knew that.
Okay. Very nice. Well, we'll have to do something special then to honor that occasion. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Missing the inside corner.
I'd take 2 Twins wins and a split doubleheader. That'd be good enough for.
Yeah, and it will be a split doubleheader. We want to give you the start times again tomorrow, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Twins made the announcement an inning or so ago about the starting pitchers. It will be Michael Pineda in the first game, and Cole Stewart will start the nightcap. Swung on and missed. 1-2 by Gonzalez. Gonzalez struck out against that cutter back in the 2nd inning. Tried it again. He wouldn't swing. 2-2.
Sometimes you talk about shifts and you talk about do teams play in different spots based on the pitcher. With left-handed hitters up and the amount of cutters and sliders that he throws, the shift makes a ton of sense with Tyson Ross on the mound.
Beaten foul.
If the left-hander is going to hit the ball on the ground, with Polanco's ball being the exception of a backdoor slider that didn't really do what he wanted it to do, most of the ground balls are going to be on the right side. So it makes, it makes a lot of sense anyway with percentages and where guys are going to hit the ball. But with him throwing all those downward movement, that cutter and that slider and everything else, having 3 guys on the right side of the field is an advantage for the defense.
But Gonzalez can see him out there, so he can anticipate where the ball is going to be pitched, right? That one hit him.
Probably not off his back knee.
So he'll go to first. And Ross, as sharp as he was in the first 2 innings, has been very erratic here in the last couple.
There is nowhere to go. That back foot's usually pretty locked in. It's right on the side of the knee. Just follows him. You get that cutter. You're trying to stay on the ball.
Mitch Garver led off the third with a walk, came around to score. Twins at some point will activate their third catcher, Williams Astudillo. And the catching situation will get back to what it was in the opening weeks of the season. But I'm really fascinated with the notion that for the first time now, and with an off day in the middle of it, and because Castro's still a little sore in the back of his right arm, this is the first time that the Twins have used the same starting catcher for 3 games in a row. And you wonder whether that's not going to be the case as long as they're both productive. You know, somebody in the media session today threw out the term chicken or the egg on another matter, but you wonder whether the production the Twins are getting from their catchers is because, in part, they're not beaten up to such a degree where, you know, their legs are shot. It's just, you know, such a physically demanding position. The Twins are taking steps maybe to change all that.
And we've seen that kind of evolve for a lot of teams over the last couple of years. And not only the physical, but also the mental.
That's thrown away. And Gonzalez will limp towards second, and he'll have third base too. And he'll round third and hold up there.
And that knee looks like it's feeling okay after getting hit by that pitch. It's the best place to be, on third base with 1 out. He's leaning over. That hurts a little bit. He's just kind of back in slowly. Not a good pickoff throw, but does a good job, not just assuming he's getting a second. He's checking. He doesn't pick up the third base coach once because he understands which balls he can get to third on. He understands how far that throw is. He's not depending on someone else to tell him whether or not he should go to third. He does a good job of running with his head up and using his instincts to decide whether or not he should go to third.
Tigers bring the infield in. The count 1-1 to Mitch Garver. Tapped up the line, foul 1-2.
But back to the Garver point, you know, the catching point, you brought this up. I mean, with all the reports and advanced stats and all the analytics and everything else that a catcher is responsible for, you know, our guys don't have a wristband. Some of them have, you know, the card in the back pocket or whatever it is to go through the pitches. But I mean, every inning they're going over that scouting report. Every inning they're trying to figure out how they're going to get the hitters out. So it's mentally demanding as much as it is physically.
That's what I would had an extended chat with Jason Castro about that. He said, you know, the physical challenges are obvious to anyone, the foul tips, the squatting, all of that. But now, and it's changed so much since Jason's been in the big leagues, it's the mental preparation. And all the analytics that we're talking about, it doesn't impact anybody nearly as much as it does the catchers. They've got to ingest an awful lot of information. Here's a drive to left field, way back and gone. More soda pop in the 4th inning.
And he just has a good idea every time he walks up to the plate, what he's looking for, what he's trying to do, and then he executes. I mean, this guy is really turning into something as a hitter. The power's always been there. He's had that reputation. He's a big, strong guy, but he's all over that pitch right there. Extension, everything you want to see out of a swing right there. And it looks so easy pop up into the second deck. This offense can get you in a hurry.
Jonathan Schoop blooped a single into right center field his first time up. Chopped. That is a foul ball. Ball made by Jordan Baker. Ross gave up a couple runs in the third, couple already here in the fourth.
And if it wasn't such a rough game for these Tigers yesterday, going, you know, getting shut out, giving up a bunch of runs, you might see a little more activity in that bullpen, but they're trying to get as much length of them. And also with the doubleheader tomorrow, you try and get as much length out of Ross today. So when you set the tone of the first game of a series and you wear out that bullpen, you do all those things, it not only affects today, but it affects the rest of the games.
Ross isn't helping matters with his erratic control. Ryan Carpenter started yesterday, and he was kind of left out there a little bit, but he gave the Tigers 5 innings. Back. Nice one-handed catch. See, that's how you do that. You just reach up with your left hand and you grab those, Justin.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good. Made that look easy. That was maybe you should take my job up in the booth.
3-2. Right off the end of the bat. Goodrum scampers to the bag for the second out. That'll bring up Byron Buxton, and we'll go back to his contribution in the field. StatCast AI, powered by AWS. A long run. You look at where he started and where he ended up catching the ball.
The one thing that stood out to me, the end of that catch, his foot easily could have got caught between that pad and the fence there, but he's just so athletic. It's like there was 8 different things happening at once, and he was able to get out of there.
So a breaking ball gets a swing and a miss.
The other thing that's funny about those, when you see those numbers, it's like a 15% catch probability and all that, but for Buxton it's like a 75% catch probability. For everyone else it's probably about 2%. But
the breaking ball away, and Byron taps it foul.
You know, we've said it quite often. The way he can impact a game just on the defensive side of the ball makes a team better. But then to see what he's doing this year offensively has been awesome to watch as he pops out to right here.
Castellanos makes the catch. The Twins get a 2-run home run from Mitch Garver, his 8th of the year, and it's 4-0. Night of excellence for the Twins. So far they're leading 4-0 on to the 5th inning. Mitch Garver with a 2-run home run, and now Ronnie Rodriguez will lead off the 5th against Jake Odorizzi, who has set down 11 men in a row. Gave up the 1-out double back in the 1st inning, and that's been it. 1-0 to Rodriguez and Candelario and Castro. There's the inside corner. Slow breaking ball. One and two. And now 1-3, another strikeout. Rizzi's 4th. Bring up Candelario. But first, Monday, May 13th, it's Scrubs night at Target Field. A limited number of Scrubs theme night ticket packages are available that include your ticket to the game plus an exclusive Twins themed Scrub Top. Visit twinsbaseball.com/scrubs to learn more about the Scrubs theme night offer. 1 down in the 5th, and now Candelario hit a fly ball to left field his first time up. He takes low for ball 1. Odorizzi has been very sharp again here tonight. 60 pitches, 13 outs. That's peeled foul over by the tarp.
Take a look at the way he's gotten there so far tonight. A little bit of a trouble getting through the first inning, but compared to his season numbers, it seems like he's got a good feel for that cutter tonight. Not very many sliders.
Just missed the outside corner.
that fastball, that four-seam fastball, right around the same number that he usually throws. So he's a guy that understands his stuff, and then you get in game and you make those in-game adjustments. The catcher, the pitcher, and the pitching coach, and you figure out how you're going to navigate.
There's the outside corner, 2-2. Punched to left. Routine, it looks like, for Rosario. 2 away. And that'll get us to Harold Castro.
He's done a good job. I mean, a lot of pitches early in this ball game, and then he's really turned it around and got some quick outs, got some early contact in the count. Still with weak contact and a lot of balls in the air, as he typically does. When you've got those outfielders out there able to run down almost anything that stays in the ballpark, you throw strikes, you attack, and this is how you pitch with the lead.
And with 4 2/3 pitched here today, and he actually had scoreless work going his last 2/3 of an inning in his first start against Houston. So we're looking at 18 1/3 innings scoreless right now, and most importantly, a 4-0 lead. 1-1. And 2. Castro lined out to Polanco his first time up. Tap to the right side. Easy play for Crone. Another 1-2-3 inning for Odorizzi. Four 4-0 Twins in front. They'll hit now in the bottom of the 5th inning. One of the reasons the Tigers have struggled in the pitching department. 3 guys they were counting on this year all have some serious health issues. Our Sanford Health injury report: Michael Fulmer, Tommy John surgery. He is out for the rest of the year. They're going to wait and take another look at Matt Moore's knee, and right now Jordan Zimmerman's listed as having a right elbow UCL strain. But those are 3 veteran pitchers that the Tigers were counting on this year, and they're all 3 hurt right now.
And I think that's one thing that we've seen. Twins have been very fortunate this year avoiding the DL, and you wonder how much of this schedule that's been, as much as anything, trying to keep the players healthy and try and keep them off their feet. We've seen, we saw it on the road trip in Toronto. Second day, didn't take BP. Guys just went out there and took ground balls. We saw some shorter days in spring training. There was, you obviously want to get your work in and you want to do everything you need to do, but
Kepler lifts it foul. It'll reach the seats.
Compared to, the game went through an evolution, and all of a sudden there was batting cages on the home side, on the visiting side. There's more opportunities now for guys to swing as much as they want to. So now I think the coaching staff, everyone have tried to almost protect the players from themselves, because if you love to hit, you've got that opportunity, and maybe you're struggling, you'll go in there and maybe take more swings than you need to.
It's interesting, on the road, someone asked Baldelli about the revised workload and the different routines that have been used so far here, and he mentioned something that Joe Madden used with the Rays. Driven hard into the right field corner. Gone, a home run. Just barely over the wall. Kepler's 8th, and it's 5-0.
And when you're going good, that thing finds its way over the fence. That thing skipped off the top of the wall. An absolute missile out of here. And we saw him his first at bat, hit a ball hard to right field. Good at bat his last time out. Took a walk. Now he gets rewarded for his patience and trying to go away with it. Ends up missing middle. That thing was on a line. Kepler hits the ball as hard as anybody, and we'll take a look right off the top of the wall. Skips into the flower bed, and another homer for these Twins.
Polanco drove in the first 2 runs, slashing a double down the left field line. A drive to right. Caught on the warning track. 1 away. Polanco nearly hit another one, and now Nelson Cruz will bat.
It looked like the way he reacted, he put his head down. I almost thought that he got it. Got it just towards the end of the bat a little bit, but another good swing right there. I mean, these guys, this is a quick strike offense. They could put up 2-3 runs in a hurry. You have to be careful not to walk these guys, because the solo homers end up being 2- and 3-run homers.
66 home runs hit for the Twins, only 38 allowed. They're a plus 28 in the home run department 36 games into the season. Now just think about that. That's nearly 1 more home run than the other guys are going to get every game that's played. That's incredible.
And not only that, also the doubles. 73 doubles coming into this game with only 49 for the opponent. So it's been a combination of both the power and also limiting the other team's power, keeping them in the ballpark, making them work to score every run that they've been, you know, getting against. So it's been something special to watch.
2-1 to Cruz. I called 2-2. Before Kepler's blast, I was talking about a term that Rocco Baldelli used, and something that Joe Madden put in practice when he was with the Rays. I think he still does it with the Cubs. 2-2 to Cruz. He enacted when he was with the Rays, that's into the press box, enacted when he was with the Rays what he called American Legion Week. Now I don't know in Canada whether they had American Legion ball. It would seem maybe Canadian Legion ball, right? But not American Legion ball. And I played American Legion ball. Basically all you did is you showed up and played.
Yep. And that, he said he always did it in August.
Yep.
So that time of year when you start dragging, you know, the season starts to catch up on you. It's a lot of games in a lot of days, and you just give it as a chance to refresh. Show up at 5 o'clock or whatever, and go out, get loose, and play the game. And he's had some very good teams. He obviously won a World Series as a manager. Had some good teams. Some people would consider overachieved while he was in Tampa. You know, made the most out of what he had. And you look at Rocco Baldelli, learned from him. Charlie Montoyo, who we just saw in Toronto, also learned from that Tampa system. So there's something going on there. They've had success with very limited payroll there. So why not see if it works here?
Driven hard to the gap in right center field. And that will hold Cruz to a single. Castellanos ended up cutting it off deep in the gap. Good at bat for Cruz and a base hit. We'll bring up Rosario. The 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off June 7th, and all eyes will be on Alex Morgan, Carly Lloyd, and the U.S. women's national team as the defending champions head to France looking to win an historic 4th World Cup. All the matches will be live on Fox and FS1. Here is Rosario, 0 for 2. Popped up almost right on top of home plate. Ryder makes the catch, 2 down. Well, regarding the American Legion Week, if in fact the Twins do that, they kind of practiced that a few times in spring training. There were times in spring training where the clubhouse was closed till 11 o'clock with a 1 o'clock game that day.
I said it before, it's sometimes you have to protect the players from themselves. I mean, spring training gets long. You're out there working, and a lot of times the swing and the timing isn't there, and you try and find your way into that swing as a player, as opposed to once you get in regular season action, there's just a different level of adrenaline that happens, and you can have the worst spring ever. I mean, I've had terrible springs, and then all of a sudden come into the season, it's like that adrenaline clicks, and those games count and they matter, and turns back on, and the swing can feel good within a day or two. So sometimes you have to take a little time and force guys to just step back and realize that it's not going to come all at once. It'll come and it'll be there, and you want it to be there throughout the season, and you want to be strong and healthy through August, September, and hopefully with this team in October.
Big swing and a miss by Crone, 1-2.
But it's a lot easier to look at that stuff as a positive when the team's playing as well as it is. You know, if you've got a team that's making errors and not playing the game the way it should be played, then now all that stuff kind of gets questioned. But if you're successful, it's looked on as a positive, and I believe it has been a positive for this team. It's a little different way of doing things, and it's worked out so far.
Well, it's not like they're not working. There were some guys today before regular batting practice working on the pitching machine, the jugs machine, throwing curveballs, because some guys have been struggling, you know, hitting the curveball. So there was some extra BP for those who wanted to practice hitting curveballs against the batting machine. It's a fastball that gets Crone. That ends the 5th inning, but the inning starts with a Max Kepler home run, and it's 5-0 Twins. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Weather's improved. Twins are still playing great baseball. Good start to the series so far. Up 5-0. It'll be Grayson Greiner leading the 6th against Jake Odorizzi, who has given up just 1 hit, 1 base runner, a double in the 1st inning. And he's put the clamps on the Tigers, as he did the Astros and the Yankees.
I feel like so many times in the last few days we've looked up and seen a scoreboard that looks just like this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Zeros for the opponent, and a 2-run inning, and then a 2-run inning, and then a 1-run inning, and it's a homer, and it's a couple of walks and a big hit. I mean, it's so many different ways, but it seems like we've got to this point more often than not, especially recently with how good the starting pitching's been.
2-1 to Greiner, then Jones and Goodrum. Missing badly up and in.
But the other thing you look at as a lineup, as a hitter, when your pitchers are this efficient and when they're working through lineups, they're getting quick outs, they're not having long innings, there's no walks. Now we look up, Greiner's up in the 6th inning, he's getting his 2nd at bat.
Right.
That's hard as an offense when you're only getting to walk up there and face that pitcher for the 2nd time in the 6th inning. Number one, that tells you he's throwing the ball really well, but it's also hard to have rhythm. We saw a game the other day in Toronto where batted through the order. Kepler was on his 3rd at bat in the 3rd inning.
Greiner swung at a fastball, then took one for strike 3. 1 down in the 6th.
But so it's hard as an offense to get any kind of momentum, any kind of flow, any kind of rhythm, and to formulate a plan off that pitcher. This is just perfectly located fastball. Little 2-seam running back over. And he's on. I mean, you can tell he's on. He's confident wherever it seems like Garver's putting that glove. He's able to locate. His misses haven't been over the big part of the plate. It's either been corner or off. Not really giving these Tigers hitters anything to lock in on.
Just off the outside corner.
Pretty good pitch right there. Real close. He's gotten a few off of there today, but not that one.
Well, it sure looks like he's going to be able to complete 6 innings. And on the night before a split doubleheader, here's the ball drilled to center. Buxton makes the catch. One of the few well-hit balls against Odorizzi. That's out number 2. The MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Target Field. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem special check-in offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. And the last thing you'd want, both teams get a chance to add a pitcher for tomorrow, but last thing you'd want would be a short start from your starter in advance of playing at least 18 innings tomorrow. Off-speed pitch over for a strike.
Yeah, you don't want to have to, because you're already counting on depth. Usually that 26 player you're allowed for, on your roster for doubleheaders is seems like 99% of the time it's a pitcher. So you're already calling on that depth you have in the minor leagues, and all of a sudden if you have a short start, in tonight's ball game, you're going to have to call up a second player from the minor leagues. And with the injuries they've had to Fulmer and Zimmerman, being on the DL, it's a big thing to be able to get through this game and get 6 or 7 innings out of your starting pitcher without having to call up multiple guys from the minor leagues to count on to get outs tomorrow.
And what that length also does, if it continues, it allows for the possibility that the Twins could cut back to 12 pitchers when Miguel Sano's activated.
Well, or even if they're able to get through tonight's game and then the 2 games tomorrow, it wouldn't seem to be out of question that maybe Astudillo gets activated on Sunday after, to see how many pitchers they've gone through and how many guys they need, or are they going to need all the pitching they can get on Sunday after 18 innings minimum tomorrow?
Just inside now, 3-2 to Goodrum. No walks for Odorizzi. He did walk 4 men against the Yankees in his last start, but he only gave up 2 hits.
It's only the 3rd 3-ball count that he's had so far in this game, and it seems like it's been a long time since he's had one.
Hit right to the shortstop, Polanco. Underhands his throw over there. A 1-2-3-6. 6 more brilliant innings for Jake Odorizzi, and his catcher Mitch Garver will hit again in the bottom of the 6th. Marwin Gonzalez will lead things off for the Twins in the bottom of the 6th inning. And then Mitch Garver and Jonathan Scope will bat. Twins in control of things right now. Tyson Ross is, well, throwing pitches in the 6th inning. It hasn't been particularly pretty or easy, but he's giving Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson some length. They don't have to dip into the bullpen as early. And that ball off his glove, and Ross fires it. Oh my. Nico Goodrum leaping for the ball is hurt, and so too is Marwin Gonzalez, who looked like he got kicked in the head.
Oof. This was not good.
Goodrum is up and walking into the outfield, and Gonzalez has hardly moved after crossing first base. A freakish play with Ross recovering after deflecting the ball, and then a high throw led to a collision at first base.
Ooh.
Well, not because you're sitting next to me, but you know what I think of every time I see that. And we just left the Rogers Center in Toronto, and I'm sure you couldn't help but flash back to the collision you had at second base. This is encouraging, with Gonzalez at least being able to get up on his knees.
Yeah, that was, I mean, had no place to go there. It's a tough play. It looked like he got hit by Goodrum, and then it looked like he hit his chin on his own knee as he was coming down. That's not good. But
well, neither is it good for Goodrum, who is coming out of the game. And Gonzalez talking with Tony Leo, and you can imagine some preliminary concussion protocol being administered right here up the first baseline.
And after he got hit by a pitch in the knee his last at bat. So a little comebacker back to the mound. Ross unable to handle it. Tries to make a throw on the run, throws it off. He's walking off on his own power, so that's a good sign.
Twins have Cade, Castro, and Adrianza, who I'm guessing will get the call here, with Gonzalez mobile. And his night is done. Dixon is in to play first base for Goodrum. And Adrianza's in the game to run for Gonzalez.
Well, you hope everything Turns out as well as it can there. That's a scary situation, but to see him get up and walk off the field on his own is hopefully a good sign.
Base hit for Gonzalez. And Mitch Garver will bat. Garver clobbered a home run to the second level in left field his last time up. Also walked and scored in the third. Strike one. And now 1-1. Expect Garver to, unless the Twins activate Astudillo, you'd expect Garver to catch one of the games again tomorrow.
I guess would be the night game, but that's just a guess. You see it quite often. Catchers, when they do get a day off, it's usually a day game after a night game, so try and give their legs maybe 24 hours to refresh and start over. And I don't know if it's going to depend on who's starting and who they want the catcher matched up with the pitcher, but
well, we have a day game on Sunday, so whoever would catch the first game tomorrow would probably catch on Sunday. Time now for tonight's Coors Light refreshing finish. The finish of that blast ended up in the second deck.
And he just looks so confident right now. Walks up to the plate with a plan. He's able to execute, get the pitch he's looking for, and not miss it.
You know, one thing, and this is someone who, you know, when I did play a long time ago, I barely knew which end of the bat to grab. So forgive me if this sounds stupid. But does Garver have what is called a short stroke? Because you don't see him overswing very often. I mean, it seems like a very measured, compact swing. Is that right?
Yeah, he's direct. I think one of the terms now is direct to the ball. Or short to long through is the way that we used to say it, but you know, he's trying to take the barrel in the most efficient way he can, and he's a very strong guy. You know, he's a tall guy, so if he gets any length on the back part of his swing, if that barrel's dragging behind, he's going to get beat by a lot of fastballs. He's going to break a lot of bats, so he's very efficient with his swing, I think would be the best way to put it. He's able to trust his hands and trust the strength that he has and all the work he puts in the offseason.
Adrianza goes, and the pitch popped up. He'll have to retreat. The ball is going to come back over the screen. Well, just as a comp, we've seen Jorge Polanco, mainly from the left side, but also from the right side, take a big, long swing where he opens up, and it's a violent swing. And it works for him, obviously. But we don't see that from Garver. We don't see a lot of swings and misses where his, you know, knee buckles down to the ground, and maybe because of his strength, he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, and I think he realizes that all he has to do is square it up.
Pitch is outside, ball 4. Adrianza was off with the pitch for the second consecutive pitch. And that'll be the end of the night for Tyson Ross. Ross came into this game having never beaten the Twins, and he will not beat them tonight, with the Twins already up 5-0. Mitch Garver's drawn 2 walks and hit a 2-run home run, so good night at the plate again for him. Join Fox Sports North for Kids in the City Tuesday, June 11th. Tickets are $75 and include a pregame party and silent auction at Fulton Tap Room. Free food, beverages, and a ticket to that night's Twins game at Target Field. All proceeds will benefit the boys and girls clubs of the Twin Cities. Visit foxsportsnorth.com/events for more details. New pitcher is Victor Alcantara for the Detroit Tigers. And he'll face Jonathan Scope with 2 men on and nobody out. Scope with a single and a ground ball to first. Twins beat the Tigers in what became a 2-game series here. Weather wasn't particularly good. Twins won both games here in April, and one game weathered out, and that's the reason for the doubleheader we have tomorrow. Scope the batter. Inside ball one.
He's got a pretty good sinker. He's got a good arm. That sinker will be anywhere 91, 94 miles an hour. Changeup's actually a second pitch, even to right-handed hitters. So occasional slider, but everything kind of moving down towards the ground, and maybe that's why you see him come in this situation. A ground ball type pitcher type stuff. Maybe looking for a double play ball right here.
And Adrianza dancing off second base and distracting the pitcher. Tigers have some major pitching issues in the rotation, and as you saw in the bullpen as well. 1-1.
But there are some good arms down there. It's not as much stuff as it is command and throwing quality strikes. There's some guys that run it up there 96, 97, 98 miles an hour. But in the big leagues, if you can't locate it, it doesn't matter how hard you throw it. These big league hitters are going to find a way to get hits off of it.
In this 3-day, 4-game series, the Twins will miss lefty Matthew Boyd. He's the best they've got right now, but they will get Spencer Turnbull tomorrow. He's going to pitch in one of the games of the doubleheader, and he's been really good for the Tigers.
He's got a good arm. He's another one they're hoping to get a good long look at because he's got a chance.
2-1 to Scope. Inside 3-1. Tigers have a good closer in Shane Green. They saved 13 of their 16 wins. Buxton on deck. Twins hope to get into the Tiger bullpen early and often in this 4-game series. 3-2.
See that? That's plus movement on that pitch right there. I mean, he's starting that ball over the plate. He's located well a couple times in Jonathan Scope right here. He's ran that ball up underneath the right-hander's hands, and even if he does make contact with it, he's probably going to hit the top of it. Maybe a ground ball to third base with how well located that was. But now he's going to go ahead and follow it up again and make another quality pitch.
Piece of it that time.
Nearly identical right there, but he gave him the same look on basically the same location. And you see him get closer and closer, and you might see him either take it, or if he throws it over the plate, it's a good chance it'll be a double down the left field corner if he tries to go in the same location 3 pitches in a row.
Inside, a strikeout, burying the ball inside to the right-handed batter before striking him out. 1 down.
He's even further in than the pitch before, but he's got enough movement. Set up in and starts that ball in and just kept running on him.
So 1 down, and now Buxton 0 for 2. And come back to the mound, and then a fly ball to right. Off the plate. Teams are really working Byron away with a lot of breaking stuff. And he's going to have to make the adjustment.
He's going to have to. I think the biggest thing is just not showing that he's going to chase. Might see 1 for a strike, but then
fastball inside a foul.
And that's his best pitch. You know, he might not throw as much breaking stuff to Buxton because he's got such a good sinker, a good 2-seam fastball. But you know, if you show that you're going to swing at the one on the black, and then the next pitch they go a little further out, and you show you're going to swing at that one as well, there's not really any reason for them to ever throw you a ball over the plate. So know, that discipline's important, and knowing which slider or breaking ball that you can hit. He's still figuring that out, but he's done a nice job adjusting this year. A lot better than years past.
Another sinker tapped foul, and it's 1-2.
If he does choose to throw him a slider right here, he's got him set up pretty well. You know, running that two-seamer underneath his hands, making him inside conscious, making him aware of the inside corner. So he does have that open, but we also saw with Jonathan Scope, he just kept throwing that two-seamer in there and eventually got the strikeout with it. So, you know, if he's going to get beat right here, maybe he's just going to choose to get beat by his best pitch.
Ooh, took a little off and just missed the edge.
Pretty good pitch right there. That's that changeup. He will throw it to right-handed hitters. He's got a lot of confidence in that pitch. Started off the plate. Looked like it maybe ran back over, but didn't get the call.
Two and two. And now 3-2.
A little different situation here. You know, we saw Adrianza take off from first base in a full count earlier in this inning, but I'd be surprised to see both the runners take off in this situation. Byron's not really a double play candidate, so you run the risk of a swing and miss and then a third out of third base, which doesn't make a lot of sense. You've got Kepler on deck, so you keep runners on base if you can. If he does happen to strike out here, you still have two runners on and someone in scoring position.
He ends up walking, nearly walked Scope.
Good at bat right there. Didn't swing himself out of it, didn't get over aggressive, ended up trying to walk, and now Kepler, who homered the last time up.
This got out in a hurry. Statcast showing an exit velocity of 105.3 and a very low launch angle.
Yeah, that ball didn't really get above those seats in right field. That thing, I mean, as we've seen and we've talked about it quite a bit, but he hits the ball as hard as anyone and finds that barrel quite a bit. 8 homers on the year, pretty good out of the leadoff spot.
Down and in, ball 1. Well, he hit a bullet to right field in the first inning for an out, and then walked. Hit another rocket for a home run. The knees, 1-1.
See Kepler shake his head a little bit, didn't agree with it, but whether or not that was a strike, it's not something he wants to hit. You got the bases loaded. You're looking for something you can elevate to the outfield right here, keep the ball off the ground. Maybe a little bit low, but we've seen that pitch called a few times tonight, especially on our side.
Popped up. Short right field. Castro going out. And out number 2. We'll bring up Polanco. Polanco slashed a 2-run double down the third baseline, driving the first 2 runs of the game back in the 3rd inning. In his first at bat, lined out to the first baseman at the time, Goodrum. And then in the 5th inning, hit a warning track fly ball to right.
Consistently putting together good at bats. With the guy with the sinker like this, I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay on a ball, maybe just take the single, the shortstop right here. You know, he has a good approach. He's going to get something he wants to hit.
Open away.
And with that movement moving away, for a left-handed hitter, this is a comfortable at bat, a comfortable time to look and go, okay, well, maybe I'll just take what they give me right here. Maybe think left center field gap, and if I happen to hit the top of the ball, it ends up being a routine ground ball to short where no one's playing. I pick up a couple more RBIs.
Strike called, 1-1.
Watching at home, you might go, what's he looking for right there? That ball's right down the middle. That one didn't have as much sink as the other ones. You know, the other ones really had a lot of downward movement. So his thought is, okay, I'm going to look for that ball starting maybe belt high If it starts where that one started, you're going to end up thinking it's going to be out of the zone, so you end up taking it. That one stayed up a little bit more than the others.
Too low, 2-1.
Good take right there. I mean, he threw the fastball off the exact same spot. He goes to the changeup there, started in the same spot. But that tells me how locked in Polanco is, because he didn't even flinch at that pitch. You know, if a guy's not going good, you'll see a quick hip movement or a shoulder little twitch, or just a little slight movement that says he's antsy or he's not seeing the ball well. He saw that ball very well and took it like he knew it was a ball the second it left his hand.
And now 3-1. Wouldn't want to be on Panther right now. Bases loaded, 3-1. The American League's top hitter.
And you've also got Nelson Cruz standing on deck as well. It's not an enviable position to be in, that's for sure.
And he took ball 4, and we'll get a run batted in on a bases loaded walk. Third walk of the inning. Coming in from third is the pinch runner Adrianza. And now you get to face Cruz.
To me, that at bat was the pitch he took for a strike. That was the difference maker. It was not what he was looking for. We said this the last time up. He doesn't seem to get himself out very much. He forces you to throw him pitches that he wants to hit. Take a look at this sequence right here. He went ball 1, then he went strike 1 in the lower part of the zone, but it wasn't anything he wanted to hit. He didn't feel like he could do damage on that pitch. The pitcher's the one who was in trouble with the bases loaded, and he ends up working a walk. A good at bat.
Big swing and a foul, 1 strike to Cruz.
Wouldn't mind seeing another one of those. Have we had one yet this year? Grand Slam?
Make me look that up, yeah. They've hit so many home runs. Ordinarily, I'd be able to give you that answer. No grand slams, hit or allowed.
That is amazing. Think of how many home runs on the season.
And there have been plenty of opportunities with the bases loaded.
But then you look and you appreciate that bet Polanco took, still staying within his approach, not getting greedy. You know, a 5-0 game at that point, but still stays within himself and doesn't give in.
And now 1-2 to Cruz. Twins have scored in 4 straight innings. Cruz strikes out. Twins leave the bases full, but add another run on the bases loaded walk. It's 6-0. Another Cino story of the game with the Twins in front.
Polanco, one of the hottest hitters in the American League, takes what the pitcher gives him, goes the other way with it. Nice double. Give the Twins a lead. They've been very successful playing with the lead so far this year. And then Mitch Garver comes up, continues that hot start. And at some point, that hot start is just going to turn into a great year. He's been swinging the bat well all year. Jake Odorizzi, a little bit of trouble getting through the first inning, but then he's settled down. He's thrown the ball very well. He's got a good feel for that fastball. More cutters tonight than we're used to seeing. Done a nice job locating that. And as we've seen, you know, throughout this stretch of games, the Twins have had the lead, but there's also a certain way you have to play when you have the lead. You don't issue walks. You throw strike 1, you keep your defense involved, and then when they're swinging the bats this well, you try and get them back in the dugout as fast as you can to maintain that momentum, keep the pressure on the other team's pitcher, and they've done such a good job of that.
Up and away, 1-1.
And we've been spoiled by it, I guess would be the best way to put it. But you look up again in the 7th inning, and the starting pitcher's still in the game.
Right.
The pitch counts, you know, under control. This has just been such a good formula that the Twins have used.
Breaking ball well off the plate, 2-1. going back to the 3 games in Toronto, Twins have now outscored their opponents over the last 4 games 26-1. The only hit tonight, the only base runner tonight, was Stewart's double high off the wall and right way back in the first inning. 17 straight set down by Odorizzi.
And in between that, there was a great play made in left center by Byron Buxton, ran down probably the most dangerous threat other than that double in this game so far, but he's been efficient, he's been good.
Buxton might get another chance here. The ball carrying out near the edge of the track. 1 away. And that'll bring up Castellanos. Partial season ticket packages are available throughout Target Field, including the Delta Sky 360 Club. You can enjoy Twins baseball from this exclusive premium area. Log on to twinsbaseball.com/season tickets or call 800-33-TWINS for details about partial season ticket plans in the Delta Sky 360 Club.
Which is about the view we have, and I mean, there's a lot of good places to sit in this ballpark, but we're lucky what we got.
Castellanos flips it foul over the Twins dugout. Well, we're curious what the attendance is like tomorrow. The weather forecast has improved steadily over the last few days. We're a little worried about getting 1 game in, much less 2, but the last time I checked, it's looking pretty good for tomorrow. We'll see how many fans show up. Drive right center field. Buxton gliding over to the gap. Kepler will let him have it, 2 down. Before Cabrera's at bat, let's have a word from Prism Research.
For more information on upcoming studies at Prism Research, visit our website at prismresearchinc.com.
With every game like this one, and they've become pretty common in the last couple weeks, you're further convinced, you should be, that this is not a mirage. This team's a good baseball team. They're doing everything well.
It's good to see a good crowd on a Friday night here coming out to watch this team, and you know, it's fun to watch the games on TV, obviously, but there's, you know, you might not see how far Byron Buxton ran to catch that ball. You know, it's in person to see the speed and the power and everything else that this team is doing right now. I mean, I feel fortunate that I've been up here in the booth being able to watch all this, because, you know, with the team record number of home runs through the first 35 and now 36 games, there's a lot of good things going on here. You just hope for everyone is able to maintain the health. You hope Marvin Gonzalez, you know, gets a good report. He's recovering. You hope everything works out well there. But this team's been cruising along pretty well with remarkable consistency. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is night after night, tough losses, bouncing back. I mean, there's been so much going on. Different heroes stepping up every night.
Just missed. Odorizzi nearly clipped the corner. He struck out Cabrera swinging in the first.
A pretty good pitch right here. Looked like he might have got a piece of the corner right here. Pretty good look by Garver. Cutter right on the edge.
Might have been his best pitch of the night, and he's thrown a lot of great ones. Driven to right. 7 more shutout innings for Jake Odorizzi. He's retired 20 men in a row.
Hi everybody, I'm Katie Emmer with your Mall of America Studio Sports Update. On this day in Twins history, May 10th, 2011, when golf ball-sized hail delayed the game between the Twins and the Tigers at Target Field. It was delayed for 64 minutes, but players from both teams made the most of it by tossing the hail at teammates and hitting it with bats.
Second year of the ballpark. 7 more shutout innings. What? Ordinarily, you'd say you win the Player of the Week award. You know, what can you do for an encore? And I guess he's figured that out. 7 more shutout innings here tonight.
Yeah, usually there's some kind of tail off or drop off in performance, but I mean, I think this is the best we've seen him throw the ball. I mean, he was in command of every pitch he threw out there. I mean, even that pitch before, he doesn't get the call, but the other thing is the composure. He's just, it's like he's expecting himself to execute every pitch. He didn't get the call on the pitch to Cabrera, but then bounces right back, makes a good pitch, and then gets him to fly out on the pitch after that. So he's been He's been really something special, especially this last run he's been on.
In pretty good shape to win his 5th straight start. And yeah, this Tiger lineup is a rebuilding lineup. Remember, within that 5-game winning streak, he beat the Astros twice. So good lineup, experienced lineup, inexperienced lineup. He's just been razor sharp with his control. Daniel Stump, the Detroit pitcher, now 1-1.
I think as much as anybody knows who watches even a little bit of baseball, anyone can beat anyone on any given night.
There's a drive to center that'll chase Jones back a little bit. And that's first out of the bottom of the 7th inning. Saturday, what a championship fight we've got for you. Undefeated IBF and WBA champ Swift Jarrett Hurd puts his super welterweight title on the line as he takes on top contender Julian J. Rock Williams. Saturday at 7 p.m. on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Now, if it's pronounced Julian, then I apologize. He's a really good player for the Cardinals a long time ago, Julian Javier. But I don't know.
You don't watch a lot of boxing?
No, I don't know Mr. Williams at all. J. Rock. Here's Crone. Fouled back. Crone is 0 for 3. Did hit a warning track fly ball to right field in the 4th. Cleveland and Oakland underway in the Bay Area. Cleveland leading 2-1 in the 2nd inning. Down and in, and it's 1-2. Busted bat. Crone will get a base hit. And a bouncer through the left side of the infield.
We saw him hit a ball in almost that exact location earlier in the game. Had a real nice play made on him, and now manages to get a hit on a broken bat. This copyright telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Adrianza batting. He entered the game as a pinch runner when Marwin Gonzalez left the game after a collision with Nico Goodrum. And the report on Gonzalez, he has facial lacerations. A pop-up on foul ground. Dixon tracking it, but has no play. Facial lacerations, but no hint or suggestion that there's any concussion issues. So we're very happy to hear about that.
You hope it continues that way. I don't want to speculate on anything, but you know, with that stuff, sometimes concussions show up the next day or even a couple days later. But as long as everything checks out now, that's a good sign, a good start. He's such a valuable player on this team. And
another pop-up. This one might be playable. And is 2 down.
And also, besides the fact that he's a valuable player, you just want to see him healthy and
not
have to go through anything like that.
You do have, again, the specter of 2 games coming up tomorrow. And under normal circumstances, it might be advisable to give Gonzalez the day off tomorrow. But you've got 13 pitchers. You're adding a pitcher, and now you're down to 2 bench players if he can't play at all tomorrow. Garver has walked twice and hit a 2-run home run. A low ball 1.
He's had some just quality at bats. I mean, he hasn't got himself out. He's taking the walks, and sometimes the hardest thing to do when you're swinging the bat well is to not go up there and swing at everything. Feel like you can hit everything.
Takes ball 2.
But I mean, he's laying off those just borderline pitches right around the edges of the zone. But if you throw him the pitch he's looking for, he's taking a good aggressive swing, getting it off the barrel, and most of the time hitting it for extra bases with how well he's been swinging.
3-0.
It's just it seems like such a simple approach. There's not a lot of movement, you know, with the lower half. He's not trying to create power anywhere. He's trusting his hands. He's just getting the barrel to the ball in a very efficient manner, and he's consistent in his approach. He's consistent in his results.
And 4-pitch walk. Well, another good day for Mitch Garver's OPS. He's reached 4 times and touched 4 bases. Jonathan Scope with a single in 3 trips.
I'd like to see him improve his home numbers, maybe starting with this at bat right here. He's had a lot of success on the road, struggled a little bit at home, and he's aware of that, but pretty good matchup for him.
Bouncer wide of third. Well, I'd like him to get his 7th home run, then the Twins could run a lineup out there that has 7 hitters with 7 or more home runs.
Through 36 games of the year. I mean,
yeah,
that's see, you've got some, you know, Rosario with 13, but
right.
I mean, you'd be, I think, almost happy with that, you know, sometime in June if you had that many guys with that many homers. But it's just a deep, well-balanced attack.
1-1. Wrapped toward the hole, cut off by Candelario, and he fires across the diamond to end the inning. The Twins strand 2. On we go to the 8th inning. 6-0 Twins in front. We head to the 8th inning. And TD Ameritrade's the right call, was handing the ball to this guy, because look what he did again here tonight.
Again, I mean, this, you don't want to diminish or not maybe appreciate what he's going through in this stretch, but it's just been so consistent. It's been, I mean, what else can you ask for out of a starting pitcher? Pitch deep into the ball game, work ahead, throw strikes, locate your pitches, keep your defense on its toes. I mean, he was in control. He used that 4-seamer. The hitters know it's coming. They know he's going to elevate that fastball, but they foul it off, and then goes to that cutter for the strikeouts. We'll take a look at Matt McGill now coming in the ballgame. Rejoined the Twins a couple of weeks ago, and now he's back into that bullpen and here to pick up some outs in this 8th inning.
Ronnie Rodriguez leading off the Detroit 8th. First pitch over for strike 1. If it is in fact the 5th straight win for Odorizzi in his 5 starts, he will have pitched 31 1/3 innings and given up 3 runs.
That's, I mean, it's hard to understand after, especially after the early season, you know, just a couple of tough outings and tough conditions, but to see how quickly he's turned it around and really just throwing the ball so well. And the numbers, his ERA is great right now, but I've said this a few times. Twice he left the ball game with 3 runners on, and both times all 3 runners scored. So you imagine what that ERA would be looking like if, you know, if there was a double play turned behind him when he came out of that game, or, you know, whatever it is. If something different happened, I mean, we'd be looking at possibly the league leader in ERA. But he's continues throwing the ball the way he is. The Twins are happy. I'm sure he's happy with the way it's gone.
2-2 the count to Ronnie Rodriguez. Candelario and Castro will follow. Check swing, but he went, says home plate umpire Paul Nark. 1 away. Well, imagine, take a look at this check swing. Oh, it looked like he went. Imagine if Stewart hadn't gotten that first inning double. Odorizzi's pitch count was reasonable enough to try Try to encourage him to go out there and at least get the 8th inning and then see if the no-hitter would still have been, or perfect game would still have been intact going into the 9th.
That kind of relates to one of the questions manager Rocco Baldelli was asked. You know, when we're in there with him before the game, and so one of the toughest decisions a manager has to make now is if a guy's throwing a no-hitter, whether or not to take him out, doing what's best for him, you know, health-wise, as opposed to chasing a personal milestone. And that would have been really interesting because his pitch count was under control, but you're thinking big picture here. You're thinking long-term, keep these guys healthy as long as you can, and then also, you know, bullpen hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities, and they will come throughout the year, but you want to keep those guys as fresh as you can.
Outside now 3-0.
And you wonder if this is a 1-0 ball game, if he's still back out there to start the 8th inning and maybe try and squeeze an extra inning out of him. But with also how good the back end of the bullpen's been, I don't think there's any hesitation to try and give those guys the ball. Rogers and Parker down there in those close ball games.
Back in the zone, 3-1. Tigers have been shut out 4 times already this year, including yesterday. 4 times tops in the league. Yep, foul, 3-2. Gill started his night with a strikeout of Rodriguez on a check swing. Now it's full to Candelario. Driven foul. Beautiful night at the ballpark. Good looking scoreboard.
Here we go.
95 over the inside edge, tapped foul.
This really is the difference in how the game is played and how pitching has evolved with harder throwers. I mean, we're in a 6-0 game. You know, for the first part of my career, most of the closers threw around this velocity, and he's coming in. This isn't your closer. He's got good stuff. Nothing against him. I'm not trying to say that. But, I mean, it seems like every bullpen's loaded with guys just like this coming in. It doesn't get any easier in a blowout because you're facing power arms like this.
If you've ever wanted to play catch on the same field as the Twins, Saturday, May 25th is your chance to experience Catch on the Field presented by Securian Financial. This family-friendly event is open to all ages and is hosted at Target Field following that day's Twins game. Purchase your Catch on the Field tickets today at twinsbaseball.com/catchfield. Missing inside, ball 1 to Harold Castro. And down and away. 2-0. Farmer warming up in the Tiger pen. Looks like he'll get the bottom of the 8th. It's a ground ball scooped up by Crone. McGill has a 1-2-3 8.
6-0. The Twins are in control here at Target Field. And coming up right after the game with Twins Live, we've got a great pitching performance to look at, and that is the one from Jake Odorizzi. Another 7 innings scoreless tonight. That brings his scoreless innings total streak to 20 consecutive innings now. Plus the Twins power continues. Mitch Garver, Max Kepler each hit a home run tonight, and we will get the post-game comments from Rocco Baldelli right after the game, Dick and Justin.
Been another good night. A lot of smiles in the Twins dugout. If you're the hitting coach, you'd better be smiling, as James Rowson is, because this lineup has been very, very potent.
Every time I walk by J-Ro or James Rowson, I look at him and say, how's it feel to be the best hitting coach in the league? He always gives me a laugh. And, yeah, he's done a good job. I mean, they prepare these guys and let them go out there and be at their best. As we take a look at Buck Farmer's number coming in, he'll run it up there 94, 96 miles an hour. Power pitcher, slider and a change, more sliders to righties, occasional change to righties. Good stuff.
Buxton over 2 with a walk. Checked his swing. That's the second time we've seen him check a swing like that where his hands seem to go through the hitting zone, but the angle of the bat, it's got to take some pretty strong wrist to check like that. He's done it twice tonight. And now inside 2-0.
And if you throw 94 to 96 miles an hour, but you find yourself in a lot of 2-0 counts, it's hard to be successful. Kind of back yourself into a corner. Unless you can get that off-speed stuff over behind in the count, you really are in trouble.
And now 94 at the knees.
That's a well-located pitch right there, outer third of the plate. Not something you're looking for 2-0. You want something you could drive. Maybe something elevated, something with a big part of the plate.
Big foul fly. Speed pitch. Buxton was way out in front of it. 2-2. Got a fastball. Belt high, and he fouled it straight back.
It's probably the pitch he was looking for. 2-0. You get it with 2 strikes, a little more difficult. You respecting the off-speed pitches, just pull the changeup foul. You know he's got a slider, so you're trying to give yourself a little more time to sit back and recognize. And then you're just a tad late on that fastball there.
Breaking ball got him. One away. Now time for T-Mobile's connection to the game. Gonzalez in the first of that series at Wrigley Field. Good outing, just 2 hits allowed. Brewers won that opener. Eduardo Rodriguez with a nice pitching job against the Mariners, who are struggling to score runs. Trevor Story with his 9th home run of the season. Presumably it's not snowing at Coors Field like it was yesterday when I was watching that game. Got to see Tyler Austin hit a couple of 3-run home runs for the Giants.
Nice to see him getting an opportunity,
Yeah.
some playing time. You know, it was when he was here, it wasn't the fact that he wasn't. He just was a little bit lower on the depth chart behind some of the guys that were brought in the offseason.
C.J. Cron will tell you that one of the reasons he's had such a productive year for the Twins is that he's been out there playing first base on an almost every day, every night basis, something that wasn't the case in St. Petersburg for the Rays or before that in Anaheim. 2 strikes to Kepler.
And it's almost a surprise to me to see that because of the defense we've seen out of him this year. It's almost every ball that's been in the dirt he's managed to pick.
Back to Farmer. 2 down.
He's done a real good job going back over his head on all the pop-ups. I mean, he's been, I don't like to say better than expected because I didn't watch him play every day. It's hard to get a read on a guy when you see him in a series. Sometimes a guy, you're not maybe getting the best representation of what that player is. Anyone can have a bad, 3 or 4 game stretch, but when you get a chance to see someone every day like we have with CJ over at first base, I mean, he's as good as anybody in the league over there. My confidence level in him is increased with every game I've watched.
There's Polanco. 1 for 3. So his batting average has gone down tonight so far, but he's driven in 3 runs. And very probably the 2 most important runs of the game, the first 2. The double down the left field line.
With the Twins record when they score first, it's always so important.
Yeah.
And, when your pitchers are throwing the ball that well, you just want to get them a couple, let them settle in. And Jake did just that tonight in that start. He had the lead, and then he pitched how you're supposed to pitch with the lead. Throw strikes, be efficient, get the boys off the field as quick as you can. They've rewarded him with a 6-0 lead, chance to win another ball game.
Just outside, 2-1. Catching the inside edge, and it's 2-2. Cruz on deck, hoping for a chance. But you're hoping that 6 runs will be more than enough here tonight. Line drive picked off by Candelario. A well hit ball off the bat of Polanco. The Twins will take a 6-0 lead. Nothing Twins with Polanco driving in half the runs for the Twins tonight. And Fernando Romero will pitch to the Tigers in the 9th, starting with Grayson Greiner. To right, and that'll land softly in front of Kepler. And Greiner's aboard with just the 2nd Tiger hit.
The top of the 9th inning, only his 3rd at bat. That'll tell you how good this Twins pitching staff has been.
Well, nearly 8 perfect innings to get things started. 7 from Odorizzi. McGill had a 1-2-3-8, but now a base runner aboard. These are valuable innings, one would think, for Romero, who wants to prove that he can get major league hitters out up here. It's a breaking ball and strike 1.
And I think the other thing, we've seen this quite a bit, him at the end of these games. Name has been, thrown out there as a potential closer in the future with the stuff that he features. Run that fastball up there. We've seen it 97, 98. He's got the kind of stuff. So pitching him at the end of games like this also may help him be comfortable.
Base hit to right field. Of course, what he wants to do here is to make sure that he's the last guy not only to pitch in the ball game, but to warm up in the ball game. This situation he doesn't want to force the Twins to warm up anybody behind him with the doubleheader coming up tomorrow and all that.
I think the thing you tell yourself when you're out there is you're 1 pitch away. You just worry about executing the next pitch. You keep making quality pitches. Let your defense help you. You don't want him to start shying away from the strike zone. You just want him to keep trying to execute quality pitches. Just like that right there.
That's a pretty good pitch.
There's not much a hitter can do with that unless he's cheating inside, but that ball was also at the bottom of the zone and on the inside corner, so puts it in play. It might be a good double play type pitch.
Swing and a miss at 97.
That's the stuff that we're talking about. That's the velocity. That's the the potential that's in that arm to pitch late in ball games. Now he's just got to refine that command, figure out what he can go to when he needs a strike and what his out pitches are, all that kind of stuff. He's figuring it out at the big league level, but the stuff is definitely there.
Breaking ball, and on 3 pitches, Dixon goes down. Dixon's first plate appearance since entering the game for the injured Nico Goodrum, who has a contusion in his knee. That's the reason he's not in the ball game anymore.
If he's able to do that 95 on the inside corner down, and then he starts that slider on the outer part of the plate, 88 miles an hour. It's a tough pitch for a right-handed hitter.
Kirsten Stewart got a double back in the first inning, and then the Tigers went until this 9th inning to get their next hit. Scored it towards third, out on third, and off the bag. Nice catch by Crone. Adrianza nearly ended the ball game, and Crone did a nice job making the catch, not running into the runner, keeping runners at first and second.
This is the right play right here. The ball takes him towards the base. Understands that he needs to get this ball out quickly, but C.J. Crone doing a nice job coming off the base, saving his infielder an error, but also probably saving a run from scoring right here, keeping this shutout intact with 2 outs now in the 9th inning. Now the all-important 27th out right here.
Castellanos, the batter, with runners at first and second and 2 down. To center. Buxton ends the game. A shutout of the Detroit Tigers behind another masterful pitching performance by Jake Odorizzi.
And it really doesn't get any better than that. Gave up the 1 double, attacked the strike zone, 2 strikes. Another good day for the offense. Some big homers, some big runs driven in. What a ball game.
And so the Twins now have won 2 out of every 3 of their ball games. Their 24th win of the year, and it'll all be covered on Twins Live coming up next.